So when you hear the word cybersecurity, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most people, it's a hacker in a dark hoodie, right? Staring at lines and lines of glowing green code. But what if I told you one of the most in-demand fields in cyber has almost nothing to do with coding?
Well, that hidden door is called GRC. It stands for Governance, Risk, and Compliance. And you can think of it as a path into cybersecurity where your ability to think clearly and communicate well is way more important than knowing how to write Python scripts. So let's break down what that actually means and why it might just be the perfect way in for you.
All right, so what is GRC really? The best way to think about it is that GRC pros are like the architects of a company's security plan. They're not the ones on the ground laying the bricks or wiring the building. Nope. They're the ones who design the entire blueprint to make sure the whole thing is safe, sound, and up to code.
Let's start with the G for governance. This is all about the big picture strategy. It's about setting the rules of the road for the entire organization. Governance basically answers the question, how are we as a company going to make smart decisions about our security? It's what makes sure the security plan actually helps the business succeed.
Next up, we've got R for risk management. And this is where we get to be detectives. The whole job here is to sniff out what could possibly go wrong. We're talking data breaches, ransomware attacks, you name it. And then the really important part is figuring out which of those threats we need to worry about first. It's all about playing smart and prioritizing your defenses.
And finally, the C stands for controls, which is really tied to the idea of compliance. Controls are the actual, tangible things you do to lower that risk we just talked about. This is where the rubber meets the road. We're talking about stuff you probably use every day, like multi-factor authentication or security training you have to take at work, and even just having a good old-fashioned lock on the server room door.
And you can see right here how it all works together. It's this awesome continuous loop. Governance sets the main goal. Risk management spots the dangers on the way to that goal, and then controls are the concrete actions you take to protect yourself from those dangers. Each part feeds back into the others, making the whole system smarter and stronger over time.
Okay, so now we know what GRC is, but why is it blowing up as a career path, especially for people who don't come from a super technical background? Well, the answer is all about the kind of skills that really matter in this field.
Just take a look at this comparison. On one side, you've got these hardcore technical cyber jobs that, let's be honest, can ask for years of experience and a whole alphabet of certifications just to get your foot in the door. But then you look at the other side. Entry-level GRC is a totally different ballgame. It's all about skills you probably already have.
And what are those skills? Things like being a clear communicator, being able to write a decent report, and thinking critically. At its heart, GRC is a people job. You're the translator between the super technical security folks and the business leaders. So if you're good at explaining complicated stuff in a simple way, you are already way ahead of the game.
And hey, don't just take it from me. Listen to this. It's from a cybersecurity recruiter with over a decade of experience. He's put people like teachers, lawyers, and accountants into great GRC jobs because they were fantastic communicators and logical thinkers. Your background isn't a bug, it's a feature.
So if you're hitting the job boards, what should you even search for? Because it's not always going to say GRC right in the title. You'll want to look for roles like compliance analyst, risk analyst, or IT auditor. These are all just different doors that lead into the exact same exciting field.
All right, feeling a little inspired? I hope so. Let's get practical now. How do you actually go from zero to being ready for one of these jobs? Here's a simple little starter kit to get you going. First things first, you've got to learn the lingo, the fundamentals of security. Second, get familiar with a couple of key frameworks, like NIST or ISO 27001. Think of these as expert-made cheat sheets for security. You don't need to memorize them, just get the gist. Third, and this one is so important, build some hands-on projects. And fourth, lean into those communication skills that we've been talking about.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. How am I supposed to get experience if I don't have a job yet? That is probably the biggest myth out there. As our recruiter friend Luke says, you can absolutely 100% create your own hands-on experience before you even land an interview.
So, how do you do it? You build a portfolio. It's that simple. Write a risk assessment for a made-up company. Create a sample security policy document. Build a checklist for evaluating new software. These are literally the exact things GRC analysts do every single day. And showing a hiring manager you can already do them? That's a game changer. And look, GRC isn't just a way to get your foot in the door. It is a launchpad to the very top.
You can grow from an analyst to a senior consultant and eventually into leadership. In fact, the absolute top job in cybersecurity, the Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO, is at its core a GRC role. They are the ultimate security architects for the entire company.
So where is all this headed? Well, GRC isn't just about today's problems. It's about shaping the future, especially when it comes to the biggest technological shift of our lifetime: artificial intelligence.
You see, AI and GRC have this really cool two-way street going on. On one side, AI is going to make GRC pros way more effective by automating boring tasks and even predicting risks before they happen. But on the other, more important side, GRC professionals are going to be the ones writing the rulebook for AI, making sure it's used safely and ethically. They're basically becoming the human referees for artificial intelligence.
And this isn't just some theory about the future. It's happening right now. The big official playbooks for cybersecurity are literally being rewritten as we speak to put governance right at the center. They're adding whole new sections just for managing the unique risks that come with AI. The core ideas of GRC are becoming the operating system for trustworthy tech.
So let me just leave you with this final thought. As AI continues to build our future at this incredible, mind-bending speed, who's going to write the rules to keep it all safe, to keep it fair, and to keep it secure? It's not just going to be the coders. It's going to be the thinkers, the communicators, the architects. It could be you.